Hello, everyone. My name is JD Calderon, and this is Indy Comics Explained. And yet again, I brought on another fantastic group of independent comic book creators. So please hit like, hit subscribe, share out the video, let everyone know we're here. And without further ado, I'm going to bring on this guy. He made it.
Hello, everyone. My name is JD Rosario, and this is Indy Comics Explained. my cohort, JD Calderon, has brought on a load of entertaining comic book creators, and he's ready to bring them out tonight. Are you not?
Yeah, that's terrible, by the way. I'm just going to say it's terrible. Yeah.
What are you doing? This was spot on, bro. I was on the money with that, kid. Come on, all this time that we're doing this together, I know your mannerisms. I know your tics. I'm on point with this.
Nope. What's up, Tom?
Hey, this is Tom Hutchison. This is Indy Comics Explained, and I brought... No, I'm just kidding. Kidding.
We gotta have fun, baby. We gotta have fun with this.
Of course. This is what we do.
All right, cool. Let's bring on the guests.
Hey, Brian Mannell. What's up, guys? Brian Mannell, new creator in space. Got my first Kickstarter coming up soon this year under Rolling Squid Bones. You know, that fun, wonderful, beautiful publishing company. We can't wait to talk with y'all. It's good to be on.
Cool.
Hey everyone, I've been on the show before. I have a Malik Running Devil now active on Kickstarter, so pay attention. And also the host of Traverse the Source podcast. How's everyone?
Everyone's good. Allegedly. What's up, Isaac?
Hey JD, nice to be here again. Always great to be on your show, sir. Thank you for having me. JD, I'm still waiting on my Tenchimuyo rewards. Where are they at?
Did you get a signed book?
I don't think so. No.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I don't have to look at it again.
See, if it's a signed book, I'm not signing them till next week because that's when they're coming up here. So that would be the
answer. One that can be as cool as JD. I'm not signing them till next week. How about I can be that cool one day?
That's when they get up because the guys are bringing them up. That was part of the contract. I was like, I'm not going.
Yes, my people will bring them to me. You know.
Well, look,
I love the way that sounds.
Wow, that looks good. I love Ryoko on that cover. It looks so good.
Yeah. So it came out. It came out really, really nice. I was pleasantly surprised.
Excited for it.
Yeah. But I think that I know for the regular stuff they're slowly rolling everything out. So I know I know they've been going out, but I don't know what pace. So.
It takes a long time. I understand. Trust me.
Yeah.
I know
I
all too well.
They had 1,800 physical backers.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
It sounds like it'd be difficult to say the least.
Yeah, and I mean, I have to sign 700 books, so those haven't even gone out. So we'll see.
I hope you get a chance to soak your wrist in some hot water, man. That's gonna hurt.
Don't. I sign fast. I sign real fast. The guy Fear 4 is my artist, Matt. He's gonna be up here and he's gonna be like, because he has to do 100 remarks and sign the books. So, but yeah, I'll probably be done in 3, maybe 4 hours. He'll probably be there for a lot longer. So we'll see. All right.
What's a remark? I'm sorry, I keep hearing it. What's a remark?
It's like a little sketch that an artist would do, but it's like like a little head sketch. Like Matt's gonna do like little head sketches. And it could be done with a marker or whatever.
Why can't they just say it's a little head sketch?
Because they call it a remark, bro. I didn't make up the rules. I'm just
jargon makes it sound professional.
Yeah.
Okay.
To make it sound more special than it is.
A remark is a head sketch on a book that already exists, as opposed to like a blank cover or whatever. Those sketch covers that have nothing on it. You're just drawing on the thing, so you're remarking the cover with something else.
Oh, remarking, not a remark. Gotcha. Okay, you're remarking. Yeah, it may sound like I'm trying to be an ass. Yeah, I'm not. But okay.
All right, cool, gentlemen. Hey, what's up, Jason? All right, so everybody saw the show question. I would hope by this point. So, what do you feel is holding you back? And there's a second half to that question. It's too damn long. And what can you do to get around or through that block? Right? Right? Crazy. Anyway, Mr. Isaac Fox, you're in the hot seat.
Time and money. It's Nothing more. That's time is a resource that is extremely limited, not how much we actually have. Unfortunately, most of my days for my job, I'm always working. So when I wake up and when I go to bed, I'm doing work. There's not enough time to do everything I want to do all the same. Money is always going to be a holdback. Oh, I want to hire this person. Well, they're kind of expensive. I want to do this. Well, getting into that's expensive. You ask me to make money, sure, but this is ultimately an expensive job to have. So that would be my biggest complaints. There would be not enough time and money. How to get around them? Keep bashing on that concrete wall. It will give eventually. Just keep hitting it.
All right.
We've all seen Shawshank Redemption. With a small hammer, you can get through it eventually. It's just going to take a little while.
There you
go. Yeah. I like that. Stripe is the biggest problem we have.
They're a huge problem for everybody right now.
Yeah. All right.
Wait,
cool.
What happened right now?
Well, Stripe, they have an issue if you're doing like adult or adult-centric books or adult-centric material. Period. On any platform, anywhere, they tend to give those types of creators hell all over the place.
Gotcha.
They're one of a few organizations doing that. Visa and MasterCard have recently taken down some artists I know. Their shops, they refuse to process payments in their shops anymore because they drew a character with a top off, which is
right.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely infantile to take an issue with that.
Right. It's not even like we're talking about like full blown out XXX stuff. We're talking about like,
stuff you would see in a museum level of content they're mad about. Like they would hate Michelangelo. They would want him dead.
Right.
So, do they operate like overseas in Europe? Where this
they're
is
international. They're based in the U.S., but they're international.
Mm-hmm.
And do they have problems with those guys? I mean, I know there's a lot of international books that are.
So I'm going to make everybody real mad. Europe has way better laws to protect creators and consumers than we do, so they probably are more protective. If I had to guess, since I know I work with a lot of artists in Europe who never run into problems. Where the ones that work in the U.S., they do run into problems. So I'm going to guess and say less of an issue over there than it is here.
Gotcha.
All right, cool. Jeff, what are your thoughts?
Right now, the wall I hit is algorithm wall. I'm pretty sure I'm in Facebook low-key jail right now because my posts now always show up in pending, even in comments now to people. So I think I'm being restricted because I post a lot, not only my stuff, but the people I'm promoting. So that's been kind of a bug because when your main avenue has to be getting your word out there, right, of your project, it does not help. Okay. It does not help when you're being restricted. So I kind of feel like I'm being held back a little bit, which kind of sucks. But my project is active. So I'm trying to get the word out as much as humanly possible to make up for it by being on shows, by trying to use other platforms now, trying to get Blue Sky doing something, Instagram, trying to get that moving, and trying to bounce off the lack of Facebook participation. That was a weird comment.
Trying to see if we get Brian back.
Yeah.
Is he East Coast? Maybe the storm is affecting things.
Yeah, he's in New
I don't know
England.
where he's at.
He's in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
He might have a problem.
They got hit a lot earlier. How you doing over there, Brian? Storm's getting to you?
I think I'm alive. I think I'm back to life now.
You're good.
You got scared. He didn't want to lose any more bets to Tom and myself. You know what I mean?
No.
Yeah, even you guys are glitching out on me on occasion, so I have a feeling we have an internet weirdness happening.
Oh boy. Also, I have a secret bet with Tom that I don't know. Tom doesn't even know it.
Oh, wow.
That's a real secret then.
It's a big secret.
Well, it's a true secret. Only one of you know.
But, yeah.
Brian, what are your thoughts on the
he'll know it. So if you guys can still hear me and all that, my biggest holdback, I think, is similar to what Isaac was saying, and that was, I think is time management is really for me. Money will be my setback in the future. I'm currently living with my dad, but for time management, the thing is, it's like I work second shift. I get home after work, and it's easy to sleep in. So on top of that, I always tend to overwhelm myself over the week when I'm not going to work full time, I'm always doing something related to the comic creatively. So I tend to burn myself out easy. And so what I need to work on more is kind of doing better, managing my workload, managing my time, and making sure that I get myself more disciplined in terms of with this.
He froze up.
Oh man, but he was good. He was good. He said disciplined.
He's frozen in time.
Yeah,
He said time's an issue.
Yeah,
That's all right. All right, Brian. We'll get back to you. Tom, what are your thoughts?
My biggest problem is in the chat right now. This Chad Perkins guy. He's trying to pick fights with me all the time. Like, I just don't know. I don't know what to do about this Chad Perkins guy. Yeah.
Well, what wasn't the whole thing about him and you fighting or something?
Yeah, if his campaign hits $25,000, he says he'll challenge me to a fight.
Oh,
God.
Yeah.
Is this campaign live?
Yeah.
Oh shit! Let's back it now.
We need to find an angel investor, to help that out.
Little bank loan just to see this make this happen. Why not?
Yeah. No, Chad's fun. Chad's a good guy. He does have his campaign up right now. It's called Set the Hook. So go check it out while you're listening to us shoot the breeze here tonight. My thing that holds me back is comfort level. Is I've reached a comfort level that, and I've talked about this before. There's sort of these two deadly elements of, like, one is laziness and one is comfort level, and they're very, very the same coin. But the comfort level for me is everything that I do as far as sales and Kickstarter and whatever, like, it all just kind of works, and to the degree that it needs to work. And so that doesn't put a lot of, like, drive into me to be like, oh, we got to make it work, because it's working. It's working. Now, if I did more, could we bump? Could we do more? Yes, there's absolutely the more levels to do more. But that's where I'm at. It's like that's we've talked about this before. It's like flip it and forget it. You turn on the Kickstarter and you talk about it for a couple of days, and then you come back 3 weeks later and you remind some people and you're done. So where it used to be like, hey, we're on a show, we're going live every night, and we're talking to the artists, and we're doing all the things, but it's like, God damn, it's a lot of energy, and I'm comfortable where I know where this campaign is going to land for the most part, so I'm comfortable. And so that's really my biggest thing is I have to sort of recharge the drive to be like, okay, well, if this campaign is going to do 15,000, what would it take for me to do 20? If this campaign is going to get 200 backers, what would it take for me to get 300? So I've got to kind of reset the drive to want that sort of over the hump sort of thought process. And I don't have an answer for how to do it, really. It's a purely internal thing that I have to turn back on. There was a time we did 20, 25 shows a year. Now I do like 10. Is that the answer? Do I pick up another 5 campaigns or another 5 conventions and get back to some of the places that we haven't been in a long time? Maybe that's part of how to get the backer count up, is remind people that we exist. So I don't know, but that's a very it's an obvious place that I sit. To me, I can see that there's the comfort level. I can see that I'm happy with this is working. We're fine. And I got to find a way to not be happy with fine anymore.
Elevate.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
All right. Jay, just give me a moment. Brian, you popped off.
Yeah.
So do you want to finish your thought?
I don't know how much I left off at, but I mean, basically, time management is my biggest enemy, and that's it's because I tend to kind of overwork myself during the week on top of the work shift. It's just it doesn't leave me a whole lot of room to kind of like write, for example. I'm always doing a whole bunch of different different things, and that's some graphic design, making Kickstarter graphics, and trying to get the comic formatted for print. I tend to overload myself with a whole bunch of different things, and that's sort of what I need to work on, is being disciplined and knowing how to set aside how much workload I'm able to kind of put onto myself, so I can have more time to spend creating the actual story, which is the most important part of making a comic.
Are you the writer artist or just a writer?
Just the writer.
Okay.
But I'm doing the I've been spending time doing the graphics for the Kickstarter. I've been learning how to format my comic for print. I've been trying to get video promos done as well, because I do video editing. And also I have a couple other writing projects on the side too that I'm trying to, for one of them for another publisher, that I'm trying to get myself back into working on as well. Just a lot on my plate. I have to kind of learn how to better divide my time up.
Cool.
Yeah.
Jay, what are your thoughts?
Me.
Yes, sir.
Me. I'm my biggest problem, holding me back.
Oh yeah, well, we all
Me.
know.
And it's a little bit of what everybody's saying, right? Yes, time management, money, but it's also anxiety. It's also complacency. It's no matter how many times I go through my checklist, there's always things that I'm going to forget. Things I forget to add to the checklist. There's things that I need to add to the checklist and I forget. And I remember in the moment. There is dealing with other freelancers who are out there and trying to establish a professional rapport with them. I'll start them on a small payment after I get a layout, and then I never get anything else back but the layout. Getting artists who are inconsistent with what they're going to do. Yeah, no, I'll have it done in a week. And 6 weeks later, I'm still waiting for their stuff. How do you enforce a contract when somebody's overseas? You know what I mean? All these different elements, and then there's also trying to balance the business side with the creative side, right? Looking at statistics, reading how to implement this tactic and trying to apply it, and then the status of working through it and developing the time to be good at it, and then writing, right? Finding the time to do that properly, even if it's 15-20 minutes a day. It's in there, right? It's pushing the needle forward. So it's me. And I mentioned that as a joke earlier, right? But I hit the reload button, right, for myself to see if I missed those pledges that didn't show up before, right? Did they pop up? Where did they pop up? We joke about it, but it's just like, fuck.
Wait until you hit that button and the number goes down.
Oh man, that's happened, bro. That's happened, bro. That's happened, bro. You know what I mean? That's one of those things where I punch myself in the sack when I'm like, why do I have to hit it at that time? You know what I mean? And then measuring against myself, right? There's a website out there that gives you the stats and numbers on how you performed on other campaigns. So I measure, okay, I had 50 backers by this point at that point upon launch, and I had this much money. How am I doing now? What did I do at that point? Different from now. So it's just like, sometimes you got to just fucking ride the wave and enjoy it too, right? Because not many people are doing this, can do this, right? There are people who are professional. They can't run a campaign. This is not something they can do. So,
Kat, I'm already familiar with JD's anxiety here. You good?
Me, I'm the problem. Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. I agree with a lot. Man, it's hard for me to say this. I agree with a lot that Jay says this time. Wow, it's crazy.
I'm gonna spit my beer all over the screen right now. Kid. You all right? You feeling good? Let's check your forehead. Is it the blizzard that's messing with you?
It might be. It might be. I think someone's shooting microwaves down here. I don't know. But no. A lot of it does have to do with fear and anxiety, a lot of that stuff. But you know what? Well, I'll go a little bit of a different route. One of the things I think that holds not just me back, I think it holds it's holding, and I've had this conversation with Jay and Tom a number of occasions. It's distribution, right? It's the things that, how do we get our work into more hands, right? I think one of the things that's happening now on Kickstarter, it's getting a little tougher to find newer fans. Those people who already have dedicated fans to their work are doing okay because they already have their dedicated mailing lists and that sort of thing. And but are they growing, right? Like they seem to be hitting their normal numbers, but are they going beyond those numbers? Are they finding new fans, right? Is that something with us stagnating? Is that something with Kickstarter stagnating, right? Because back in the day, it was one of those things where a lot of people would go to the platform and browse to buy. Are they still doing that, right? Are they discovering, the new projects? Or has it become a thing where there's so much of a particular type of project that people give up? They're like, well, there's a lot of, I don't know, female-led, good girl, bad girl type of, stuff on there, right? And I'm guilty of that, right? And is there too much of that, right? So that all of the other stuff that's kind of weird and unusual is not getting looked at, right? Is there too many superheroes on there, right? Because there's a lot of superhero campaigns and not everybody's into that sort of thing, right? So, that's the thing. It's like, what is it that's holding us back, right? So I think one of the things is distribution, right? Like I said, Diamond was a huge gatekeeper, right, for all of us. But it's a gate that you could squeak, you can get in, right? You can squeak in. Now with Lunar, Universal, a couple of these other companies, a little bit more difficult, right? Especially getting out to a broader, more robust amount of stores, right? Because you want to get in with Lunar or Universal, right? Especially as indie guys, so that you can reach 1,200 stores, right? You're probably not going to get in all of them, but even if you could just reach 200 or 300, you'll be fine, right? So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And as far as how to overcome that, man, that's a rough one. That's what I'm going to be tackling over the next year.
So. Well, a good distribution one of that, Filbo distribution seems to be really indie friendly. I've been getting to a lot of good stores.
Phil is great, but the thing is, I think the only problem that Phil is running across is that he's limited in the amount of stores that'll do business with him.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, because he has issues because a lot of the stores don't like the terms that he's putting out. Right now, I understand why he puts out the term. Like the terms he puts out are great for us. Right, like he wants prepayment, so as soon as our books are delivered to him, he pays us, which is great for us. But retailers are like, "F you!" They want to hold on to their money, their resources, because that's what that is, as long as they can, right? So you got to understand from his perspective. I like it. Retailers, not so much. It also depends on the retailer. If you have maybe a company like I don't know, like Midtown Comics. If they decide to do business, they can absorb that. You understand? They're big enough. They got enough of a war chest. They can absorb that. It's not going to be a big deal for them. Smaller store might not be able to hold on to $300, $400, $500 per month, to give out that type of cash and be able to hold it back, right? Those types of resources. So, that's what I see. Oh, but listen, I wish Filbo nothing but the best, and I want him to succeed like badly. I got friends that go through him. And listen, man, I want him to succeed
Well, Filbo's a door like any other, and just like Jeff said, they're indie friendly. So if you can't get into Lunar or in these other places, it's a door that you can probably pretty easily get into as long as you have a quality product. Because I know he looks at books and is like, you're not ready for prime time in some cases, So he is like Diamond in that he has a vetting process. But if you have a quality book and you can't get into the other places for whatever reason, it's a door you can use. But just like JD said, there's stumbling blocks in his way. So we'll see how that all can smooth out. I mean, he's only been doing it for like 6 months, so we'll see if it gets better, worse, the same, whatever, and just see if the door stays open.
Yeah. All right, Jay, you're up.
Okay. You mentioned something right now, and it triggered me for this question. The algorithm doesn't matter, right? If you have your audience. All right. Now I understand you want to grow. Okay, it's different. It's harder to retain a customer than it is to get a new one, right? So do you know your audience? And do you know how to reach them? Is the question.
Cool. Jeff, you're an Aussie.
Oh, fantastic. No, I think I'm in a position where, like I said, I've only done a few Kickstarters at the moment. 3. I do think with my previous one and Terminus, I definitely knew and found my audience. Malik, right now, that I'm doing right now, is only really the second Kickstarter, some years apart. I'm still finding the audience for this one, which is why I'm so reliant on social media right now to get the word out there, and why the algorithm restraining it is difficult. But I am definitely trying to get the audience to, I don't know if it's finding the audience or getting them to find me. It's one or the other. But I think I'm trying to make sure see if the audience can find me and be like, hey, I recognize that. Now you can back it.
All right, cool. Brian, what are your thoughts?
So, like I said, I'm unfamiliar with Kickstarter. I'm not too entirely sure if it is, whether or not it is the case where new readers are harder to come by now with Kickstarter. But I think a way that I could, in terms of reaching my story out there to new readers, if that was the question, is I think part of it is you develop relationships with other people, and when you get yourself into a big network, I think it's harder to reach your story out there on your own, is kind of what I'm kind of going out there to say. I think you have to develop relationships with other people, and that takes time. And I think you can only, a way to grow your audience is to just help each other out to expand ourselves out there. I think I don't know. I'd like to think that you have to get to somebody else, I guess. I have to think about this one a little bit more.
Okay.
That's fair. Not all these questions are easy.
Yeah.
But Tom has an answer.
But you didn't ask Isaac. You got to ask Isaac.
Oh, Isaac, I'm sorry.
Come on. Oh, my God. You
know what it is? I was
not
going
even
to
following your own patterns.
Why does he have
Isaac,
I know anything.
Let him get away with it.
Go ahead.
Everybody's broke. I don't know if this is a surprise to anybody, but everyone's broke as dirt right now. I've got messages from backers for the last year and a half now saying, hey, I'm sorry I didn't spend as much this time because I'm broke. Everybody's broke. Nobody got money right now. So you kind of have to play around that. As far as, I think both JDs were 100% right, though, that what this battle truly is finding your audience. And it's not going to be easy to find them because they're not looking for you. You're looking for them. You have to be Uncle Iroh to Zuko and ask yourself the big question to your backers: who are you and what do you want? Are you willing to work within the capacity of what they want? It comes down to then, do you want to do it as a hobby or do you want to do it as a job? Which one do you want to do? Do you want to tell your story about this magic cat that fights space weasels? Cool. But is that what your audience is asking for? No. Then you got to go with what you got to take it as, okay, this is my hobby. I want to tell this story. Your audience goes, hey, we want the weasel to have the power of flight. Well, he doesn't have that. Well, they want that, so you're going to make the modification, or you're not going to do it. That comes down to it. I think both JDs were 100% right about that. It comes down to knowing your audience. Look at some of the best guys on Kickstarter and look at the way they behave, the way they dress, what they do. They embody the thing they're about. Everything they do reflects what they're about, what's in their books. I have a couple of good examples like that. I use a big name because he won't get mad about. Brian Polito is a fantastic example of this, and that his stuff is super, super metal, like everything he does. But look at the way the man dresses. I've never not seen him in a battle vest. Like, that's who he is, and he resonates with that audience, and he understands that. Figuring that out for yourself is a thing you have to do if you want your audience to grow or to grow upon the current audience you already have. And that's not easy. It takes a long time to do it. It's hard. It's painful. It's like going to the gym every day and being the punching bag. You're not the puncher. You're the bag. That's what this is. If you get used to taking those hits, then you'll find that audience eventually. The question is, how many hits can you take?
Cool. Tom, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, part of finding your audience is finding yourself. That's the reality. Is you have to be authentically who you are in whatever capacity that is, and particularly in a creator economy now, because people will resonate with the creator as much as they resonate with the product itself. Like for me, I do horror and superheroes and westerns and you know, I'm across the board. I'm everywhere. So there isn't anything for me that's like, oh, you guys are all dying over there.
Sorry.
JD, your life alert's going off. If you're old enough to know that joke, please take an aspirin.
Yeah.
Thanks, JD. I don't know where I was now. So for like Polito is one thing. All of his books are one thing, and he drives everything one way, right? For me, it's a little different because I have this superhero book that is not anything like Penny for Your Soul, that is not like anything that is Legend of Oz, that is not like anything else that I do. So for me, I don't have the luxury of just being that guy to attract to all of the books. So for me, finding an audience is not finding an audience, it's finding 7 audience, because I don't necessarily have crossover for every book. People that buy Penny for Your Soul do not necessarily buy Critter, do not necessarily buy Oz, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm in a situation where it's a plus because I have all of this stuff that I do, and it can theoretically find more and different people. But when those people find something and come back to sort of home base and they're like, okay, well, I bought this Western, what else does he do? And there's no other Westerns or anything like it, they may or may not buy anything else. So I, you know, and even beyond that, I have people that I know will only buy my book if I have certain artists on the book. They won't buy it unless that guy does a cover. So he's not even there for the book. He's just there for that particular artist. Doesn't matter what they draw. So there's not really a way to do any of this other than to just be consistent, be out there being social media, doing stuff like this, Comic-Cons, and if you can, have some sort of distribution into comic book stores. But again, as I've said for many, many years, that doesn't guarantee you anything. Distribution to those stores doesn't guarantee squat. But you know, I know my audience in a core sense because I've been doing this for 16 years now. So I know a lot of these people. As soon as I launch a campaign, they're in there, and I can see their names. Dip, 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 dip. They're just there. So, but like I said, with my everything's fine sort of mental state, I don't go out and drive for like, well, I can get 10 more people if I do 10 more podcasts or whatever. But that's how you have to do it. It's just consistency and exposure of your brand, your books, yourself, your ideas, you know, out into the world in whatever way you want to do that. This is theoretically the easier way because we can just flip a camera on and we can all just talk and shoot the shit. There's people in the chat room that are listening to us, and that's great. But that doesn't necessarily translate to anything other than just people knowing who you are. They still got to decide, I want to buy Tom's book for whatever reason. Whatever the reason is, Tom said something, I want to buy his book. Tom wore a shirt that I liked, I'm going to buy his book. Tom hates a movie that I hate, I'm going to buy his book. Like, you don't know what the trigger effect is. But in the Polito case, Polito has for years generated a very specific aesthetic that attracted a very specific clientele, and those fans enjoy the books, enjoy Brian, enjoy drinking, enjoy getting together. Like, he's created a club for Lady Death, Coffin Comics as a whole. He created a club, and he's been doing it for years upon years upon years. If you go all the way back, it's been like 30 years, since he did, Evil Ernie back in the 90s. But with Coffin Comics, that's been like 10 or 15 years now, something like that. So, he sort of rebranded, reset, and just everything he does is the same. But even within Brian's books, Lady Death will always outsell La Muerta, will always outsell Hell Witch, will always outsell Mike Morg. So even within that, he has a hierarchy of people want this, but they don't necessarily want this at the same level. So even he has that, even though it's all the same stuff, it's all heavy metal, whatever. It's the same thing, but there's a hierarchy there too. So there's not really a right answer other than to just keep making your fans happy. Whoever's buying, whatever they're buying, just keep making them happy as best you can. Hopefully they will talk about your book in some capacity, because that's really the grassroots is, I bought Rosario's Vicky Styx, and it's a great monster book, and you guys should go get it. That's the advertising that you need. Because if a fan is talking about it just on their own, other people will pick up on that and like, oh, he's talking about it. Let me go see what this thing is.
I think I'd like to take another stab at this, because I think I misunderstood the question earlier. And what Tom said something earlier about having like a authenticity behind it. I think really that's like the first thing. Because I like to think about, and I'm kind of spitballing a little bit here, but I like to think that when it comes to stories, people are looking to connect with you. They're looking to connect with you through your story. That's what everyone is looking for when they pick up your books. What resonated with me too with Vicky Styx is this badass undead monstrous lady who's protecting other monsters. I think that's awesome. That connected with me. Tom's Oz book. What connected with me is just this really interesting Western spin on Wizard of Oz. And, I think at the end of the day, if you're going to, in terms of reaching new readers, you have to kind of be out there, and be authentically you. And when you put your stories out there and you try and bring in as much attention to it as you can, hopefully, those who have gotten a chance to experience it, they connect with it. And I mean, it's just a slow building from there, because as far as I know, and I haven't been in this business at all for I'm a rookie in this whole thing, but my understanding is that building an audience takes many, many, many years. And in terms of like finding those readers, gaining readers, even maintaining the readers, it seems like a lot of it has to do with consistency. And it's also hard to be consistent when, we all have our financial limits and our time limits. And I think, that's our biggest, I guess, struggle in terms of overcoming, in terms of reaching out there, going to look for new readers and spaces of the web that are more towards horror. If you're writing more horror books and you're within horror communities, sci-fi and sci-fi communities, if you're writing sci-fi, I mean, there are ways you can kind of reach out, but in terms of, gaining new readers and having those readers latch onto your work, I think to have that happen, you have to have that base of authenticity and being vulnerable with your art and with your work.
I like that. Cool. I like that.
All right. It's funny is for myself is like, I am my audience, right? I write primarily for myself. When I create these things, I do it for myself. I do it for my own self-interest. I do it to entertain myself, and I share that with the public, hoping that there are a few other like-minded individuals, right? If I had to go whole cloth and just create from scratch, right, and give thought to what is it that a particular audience would enjoy, to elevate me so I can have a bigger audience, I'll be honest with you, at that point, I would probably just try to switch over and try to get work professionally. Go to get work, try to get work at Marvel, DC, Image, Dynamite, wherever. You understand? Try to get work at those companies so I can elevate my name above the work, right? Because at that point, like, I like to do what I like to do, right? I don't like to do. If I'm working for someone, that's different. That's a job, right? Like if they come to me, if someone would come to me and say, "We need you to write Spider-Man," right? I'm not going to sit there and be like, "Well, I'm going to change Peter Parker and I'm going to do this and X, Y, and Z and blah blah blah." That's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to sit back, see what's done, see what works, right? Work within that framework, right? Break the toy as much as possible, but rebuild the toy and return it the way I got it, right? So by the end of it, so that the next creator can come in and do what they need to do, okay? And make it fun, right? Make it fun and enjoyable, right? So then that way, the readership, the fans who enjoy that sort of thing will look and they'll be like, all right, well, JD did his job. He does a good job. He writes a fun story. Maybe he'll write fun stories in these other places, right? And that's how I would go. But like I said, when it comes down to like me looking at I am my audience, right? And here's the problem with it is like, it's like Isaac says, it is my very expensive hobby. That's how I look at it. I run it like a business. You understand? Because I have to take that aspect of it seriously because that's what the government demands of me, right? But, when it comes down to the creation of it, right? I try never to think of what do I have to do to sell this, right? Because that's the part where I feel like I get a little lost, right? Because I'm like, what should I do, right? Is it necessary to go this route? Is it necessary to go that route? I don't know. You understand? But I do know what I like, right? And that's the part where I'll stick with every time. I'll stick with what I like, right? That's all I got.
Yeah, and I think you get, I think that's the readers who latch onto that are the readers who will latch onto you or who will stick with you more, as well.
Jay, what are your thoughts?
I didn't have an answer, right? I was looking for an answer. That's what I was asking everybody here. But then you started seeing some things that touch me, right? I am my audience in certain genres. So when it comes to the superhero genre, my Shield of the Interceptor book, that is pure self-indulgence, right? That is superhero. That is me writing superhero stuff that I'll never write, and just putting my spin, and seasoning it with what I want to see. When it comes to the zombie stuff, the New York versus the world stuff, I'm a bit pickier with that, right? Because I love the zombie genre. So I'm more reserved in the kind of story that I want to tell with that. I'm more selective in how I reach those people. When it came to Vicky Styx, and once I deconstructed her and found out, okay, she's got a little bit of Hellboy in her. She's got a little bit of Jessica Jones in her. She's got a little bit of that 80s Beauty and the Beast TV show that had Ron Perlman and Linda Hamilton. And nobody is picking up on that one at all. That scares me. That shows I'm dating myself. Brian, I think you're like 26, 27. You know what?
Listen, I know what that is, but there were like 12 dudes that watched that show, and the rest were women.
I know,
So.
but it's like, okay, once I found out what those elements were with the Vicky Sticks book, I was like, okay, I'll go after the people that like that, right? And I'll speak their language, and in doing so, they're coming to the table. They're buying the books, right? At least those who have never worked with me or never picked up anything from me on Kickstarter before, at least they're dipping their toe in the water with some digital stuff. Awesome, thank you. But those who have been with me from the beginning, they're in on it, right? And they want the stuff that I do, which is the free reward for people who keep coming back, the reward for those who are there in those first 24 hours, the trading card set, which is expanding the universe, right? With the comic book, all right, you got those 24 or 32 pages or 16, whatever it is you can do. But with those cards, you're expanding that universe just a little bit more with something tangible. And people pop for that. People are jumping on that. And people keep coming back, at least for me. So I know that's something that I'm going to utilize to reach out to them.
Well, I think to add to that, though, I mean, I can't imagine writing a comic book I wouldn't want to read. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I kind of feel like I have to be a fan of my book first. I can't imagine writing a book that I would, if I was on the stands, I'd be like, nah, this sucks. I'm not interested in this.
What if you go down the road that Calderon said? He goes, oh, I'll do work for hire, right? And okay, you work for hire, but you got to do this book, which you don't know anything about.
Well, I will say I was on a hired to be on a project where I started doing it, and then when I realized it wouldn't be a book that I was proud of, I quit and I get back the money. Okay. I would have to. I gotta be my first fan, I think, to be comfortable.
All right, cool. All right, I screwed this up. Alec. I try to usually cover with a great intro, but I totally botched that. Jeff, do you want me to play this video?
Sure.
All right, cool.
In audio.
All right, cool.
Cool.
So, Jeff, walk us through this. What are we looking at?
All right, so this is Malik Running Devil. This is the third issue of a 6-issue miniseries. Basically, the prologue in the first issue has to do with God sending Malik to hell to kill Lucifer, to kill the devil. That causes 2 problems. One, when an angel steps foot on hell, you can't return to heaven. And also, when you kill the devil, you become the devil. So Malik is basically sentenced to an eternity in hell for doing what God ordered him to do. And that obviously pisses him off for many reasons. He doesn't think he deserves eternal damnation for that. And it sends him on a course of not only finding out who he is, finding his own agency, but vengeance upon his creator for what, as he views as an unfair punishment for doing what he was ordered to do. So it's a story about revenge. It's a story about, like I said, about agency, finding who you are, and also a story of betrayal. So it's a lot of things in this story. I'm very proud of it. I love the art from Juan Almiron. It's moving a little slower than I would like, but I still have faith in my story for it's, I think, good horror. It's a great character study of Malik, the angel that was once God's wrath. And it's a good fantasy mythology aspect to it, a world building around it. So I'm very proud of it, to be honest with you.
I love that premise.
Oh, thank you so much.
This is the third issue. How many is this the conclusion, or how many more issues?
There's going to be 6 issues.
Okay.
There's 2 issues that take place in hell, 1 in purgatory, 2 in heaven, and then an epilogue. And then there's 3 8-page tie-in comics that connect to it, but don't have to be read to read this. But everyone who backs it is going to get a 8-page prologue, either digital or hard copy, depending on how they purchase. And they also get 5 free PDFs, Indy Comic PDFs. So there's a lot you can get from just a simple backing of 1 issue. You get a lot for it. I'm trying to make sure the prices are cheap enough that people in a tough economy can afford something, either digital or hard copy. Basically, everything is going towards the artist, the coloring, and the printing, and lettering. But I'm trying to make sure it's something that everyone can take part in.
All right, cool. So you got your 65%. Another 10 days ago, you got 22 backers. All right, so you got a little bit of hustle to get on it, but I think you can make it. You will make it. So
I'm right on that fence. I have 2/3 of the way to fund, and 2/3 of the campaign's already over. So it's a little bit tight. It's a tightrope right now. So anyone who wants to support it, please do me a favor, support wherever you can. I believe in this project a lot. I think this is going to be, I think it's going to knock a lot of people their socks off. I think they're going to be impressed. It's a little bit kind of like John Wick meets Spawn meets Dante's Inferno. And like I said, I think it's going to be a book that a lot of people will enjoy.
All right, cool. Looking good. Very nice. Everybody, go support. Like it.
Please do.
All righty. Now. All right.
I can't say nothing about your transition.
No, you can't. You can't. I was on your show the other day, sir. Yep. Brian, so what are we looking at?
So The Wretched, I have a video there too, if that was of interest. But The Wretched is a story about these 4 experiments of a mad scientist. They're really they're young kids who were experimented on and turned into creatures of animal and machine called amalgams. They are sent out in a diseased region of Romeheim to kidnap humans for their master. But over time, they start to some anxieties within them start reemerging again, and they have to. They're having more difficulty dealing with them, and so they have to kind of learn how to rediscover their identities as monsters and learn how to become the thing that they hate most, which is being human.
Okay, cool. Now this is the first issue. How many issues are in the series?
So I have in my right now in my head, I'm ambitious with this. About 20 issues. That's probably what I'm trying to aim for. This is a big issue 1. This one is going to be 70 pages, and it's almost done. We have like 10 more pages left to get colored and lettered, and it's also going to be in Spanish as well. And I'm having that translated with a Spanish translator I got in touch with, and we're going to have 4 different covers, some stickers, bookmarks. I'm keeping the my first Kickstarter a little bit light, although now I'm thinking about maybe adding a a small print in there as a stretch goal, perhaps. But yeah, it's going to be mostly a small campaign with covers and some smaller items.
Okay.
I like how you've loaded up your pre-launch page, man. You're trying to give everybody as much info before they can back it. Way to be on that, man.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, I had fun putting it together.
All right, cool. And the first issue is what, 70 pages? I saw.
Yeah, 70 pages long.
All right. Is there any reason why you decided to go that length?
So when I initially wrote this, the editor I was working with said, just write a story from front to back, however long you want to write it for, whatever makes sense to you in terms of how, the flow of it, where it ends. It was 96 pages at the time. So when I reduced it down to 70, the reason why it's that long is because how I have this first issue kind of set up, and I say issue in quotes, it's kind of big, but I wanted it to end in a certain way, and there was no way for me to do that without a few story elements that I had to touch upon first. So I guess this is kind of like an issue 0 and issue 1 mixed in, I suppose, but
Okay.
in order for me to have a beginning, middle, and end, while at the same time introducing who these characters are and what kind of world this is, it was difficult for me to reduce it any further.
Okay. I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
When do you plan on launching?
So I want to target mid to late April. It could go into May. So I knew it's difficult for me to project, but the book is almost done. All the covers are made. All that's left now is a few of the stickers to be made, and a possible print if I were to work on that. The video is nice too if you want to watch.
Yeah, put it on, man.
That's it.
Cool.
Yeah, just a little trailer I made a little while ago.
All right, very nice. So you said you either April or March or May?
May, yeah, April or May. I'm trying real hard to get it down to mid to late April, but it could go into May.
Gotcha. Now, what's holding you up? Is it just you're trying to get the book done? Like you want it done before you release?
Yeah, I do definitely that. I want to have the book completely done before release, and just to kind of have my ducks in a row. It's difficult for me to commit to something. I've started production on this, I think, in December 2024 or 3.
Okay.
And I just need to. I feel comfortable with establishing a launch date once I have basically everything together, and I don't need to worry about too much in terms of waiting for items to come in or something. But like, I just need I just need to kind of wait at least until the book to be done, and then I'll be able to feel confident and be like, all right, this is the date. I'll have it ready printed, and the Kickstarter is only going to cover printing costs.
So you are going to print it, because Green Lantern Burks is asking a question, and I had it too. You are printing it?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be getting it printed. Yeah, I'm not physically printing it, but it's going to be printed.
No. Can I ask how much how much is the initial print reward going to cost?
So the physical is probably going to be. I'm including shipping in the reward tiers, so it's going to be $25 for the cover A and $30 for the variant. So I'm going to have a limited amount.
Okay, bump that up, brother. If you're going to cover the printing in there, go 30 and then 35. You know what I mean? This is your first one. You put a lot of work into it. This is from somebody who has always fought back on people telling them to go higher, right? I've always went with a very low print reward tier. And
Yeah, but $25 is, in a lot of cases, you're going to get like 100 or more pages, like a trade paperback for 25 bucks. So if he's at 70, 25, and that includes the shipping, that's a pretty good deal. So the flip side of the coin, because Jay's not wrong, but the flip side of the coin is he is new. Nobody knows what it is. Nobody knows what this book is. Right. So if you can be a little more liquid in your price, you might be able to get more people to give it that first try. So, just a couple of ways to think about it. But
yeah, I'll definitely have some time to think about it. That's something I've thought about as well. And considering what, as Isaac has mentioned before, how these days it doesn't feel like people don't really have as much money to spend, these days. So I thought about just maybe reducing the tier cost by $5 or something like that.
Don't do it.
I wouldn't go below 25.
Yeah, don't do it.
With your shipping included, I would not go below 25. For that size of the book, 25 bucks, you're in a very reasonable place at $25.
Yeah.
Very, very reasonable.
Okay.
Yeah. Can I add what people tell me and have told me many times that it took me a while to listen? The folks on Kickstarter know the gimmick, right? They know that this is not cheap. They know that this is coming out of, our back pockets, and they're willing to pay for the premium experience to get something that they like.
Yeah. And I for sure. I've been told that, considering that, and the length of the book as well, keep it at 25. At the least, I have the digital at a $10 tier. So digital is $10. I'm also going to have deluxe editions for this as well. I forgot to mention that. I'm going to have like 15 pages of concept artwork and 15 pages of work in progress work as well. So there's going to be a deluxe edition, which is going to be 100 pages, which is going to be like $5 more than the physical. Just $5 more.
Maybe.
Cool. I mean, your numbers. You're gonna know your numbers better than we will. And I mean, I agree with Ray. I mean, I agree with JD because I'm the one that's constantly telling them this, along with Tom. And he's kind of listened, but not really. But
Is it me?
Sorry,
I can't hear you, Calderon.
I didn't hear you either.
Yeah,
I'm getting some feedback as well. I don't know if that's on my.
Yeah.
Hold on, Keith.
Now you're back.
Here.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Now
I can hear you.
Oh, okay, that's weird. All right. So anyway, like I was saying, I actually agree with Jay on this, which is really weird tonight. This is a very strange night. Must be the snowstorm.
Motherfucker.
Especially since this is the advice that myself and Tom have constantly hammered him with, right?
Oh, yeah.
And he kind of sort of listened, but not really. But you're gonna know your numbers better than we will, right?
You also have to kind of extrapolate back from what you need to print the book.
Right.
So if you need whatever $10,000 and you have a $25 book, just do the math. How many backers do you need at $25 to hit $10,000? So there's sort of a reverse engineering to some of this setup as well. So
Yeah. That's what I was doing. That's what I was doing as well. I think it was last week or the week before, just working my way back from the printer I plan on using. How many expected backers I should be getting? I'm hoping 30 to 40 or so, at least. But just trying to judge how much it might cost for 30 or 50 copies, and then I don't know. I'm trying to make it as low expectations.
There's a lot of Tetrising involved in these things to try and figure out stuff, especially when you're on your first one. You have no clue. There's no way to know anything. So I think if you're kind of coming at it with like, okay, I need 50 copies and what's that total? I think you're fine. And I think 25 is a very liquid price. Travers is saying that the difference of $5 isn't going to be it. That's false. $5 can absolutely change the price. 15 and 20 it will throw people off. 20 to 25 will throw people off. 25 to 30 will throw people off. So the more you can be in sort of a sweet spot with that size of a book, 70 odd pages, I think 25, including your shipping, make sure that all of your stuff says, just call it free shipping. You don't have to say include shipping. Yeah. Just say it's 25 with free shipping. Like, just call it that.
Free shipping.
Okay. People will respond to that. Yeah. And then when you do interviews, you just say, like, this price includes your shipping costs. But make sure that all your images and stuff just say $25 free shipping. That's just the easy mental, breakdown for, selling 101.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. All right. Cool.
Tom's on to something. I've learned that a lot of guys who are not on the comic side of Kickstarter do not charge for shipping, or they charge a lot less than shipping actually is, because they bake the cost into the item itself and don't tell you that. So you're still paying it. You just feel better about it.
Well, most people understand that that's what's happening, and
exactly that.
And
yeah,
well, I have had messages of people not understanding that before.
It's sort of like what drives me crazy with airlines, right? It's like, oh, buy your ticket and then we'll charge you $50 for your bag. Just put the 50 in the price and shut up.
Yeah,
move on. Stop.
So for those who don't know, the current cost of shipping in the U.S. for a 15-ounce package, if you're using ground, is approximately an average of like $7, right?
Yeah.
5 if you go on East Coast to East Coast, 6 if you go on East Coast to Midwest, and 7 to 8 if you go on East Coast to West Coast.
There's a lot of variables in that equation.
Oh, of course. Oh, yeah. Definitely.
It can come down to an individual basis. That price could change in an hour. It bounces around.
Yeah. Well, you're looking at a 22-year veteran of the post office.
All right. Isaac, you want me to play this video?
Sure.
All right. Cool.
JD, you better recognize this.
Winning love by daylight. Never run from a real fight. If you don't stop, you'll get us sued. Click, click, bang, click, clack, the gusts are sealed. No more magic here, you know the deal. 'Cause we both know where this is going. Brand new badge, brand new expensive toys, just for you to know the girls and boys. It's time to get the stuff bumping. I know you got your eyes on me, but you better get in line. My eyes are set on my partner in crime, and I'm gonna make him mine. So get such you busted. When I flirt and I tease and I don't, I can't be trusted. 'Cause I know how to get what I want. My heart is on fire.
All right. Cool.
I was hoping you got that joke at the beginning, JD. You're from that time, man. You need to get that joke. Counts as a parody, so they can't come after us.
All right, so Isaac, what are we looking at?
You're looking at the 4th issue of Suck You Busted, which has been our most popular series. It currently holds the record for the most popular, most backed, and highest rated single issue comic series in the history of the continental United States' largest city. By square mileage, LA County has more people than our entire city does, but you take the W's you can take, especially at the level I'm operating at. This is strictly an 18+ book, so if you're the kiddies, don't open this book. It's not an H book, but it is an ecchi comedy. So if you've seen things like High School DxD, Monster Musume, Interspecies Reviewers, you're going to be right at home. Or if like things like Sunstone, on the more traditional comic book side of things, you're still going to be right at home. If you're a man of culture or a person of culture, you've come to the right place. JD, I know you're familiar with the term ecchi, but for those who don't know, it's a playfully sexual term, essentially. One of those shows where somebody trips and falls over, and for whatever reason their pants come down, you can just see it. That happens. You'll see a lot of that. This was intended to be the final issue of the series, but when issue 3 came out, we received one complaint on loop. I got it at conventions, I got messages, and I got emails about it. that the series was stated to end in 3. So it's getting a second arc because I've had so much demand for it. So Succubusted 2, Dirty Angels number 1 will come next year. But as of right now, this is Succubusted number 4, the biggest bust yet. This one actually doesn't take place in Jacksonville, Florida. It takes our heroes travel down to Gainesville, Florida to track down the demon and the witch who are responsible for a sinister plot to conquer Jacksonville. And the question is, can they save the day or will they be pounded into submission? They don't have time to call for backup. A lot of questions are asked going into issue number 4. Will Rita finally confess her feelings for Liam? Will they finally bang? Do we get to watch? What's going on between Kimiko and the Queen of Lust? How kinky does it get? All of those questions are going to be answered here in issue number 4, along with a lot of action, combat, bare-breasted battle, and decent exposure. The crime list goes pretty long, actually, despite the fact our characters are officers. And this is a 32-page book of interior pages. Anything that Ashtika Comics does, if it goes to Kickstarter, it's already done. The book is ready. All I have to do is hit send to the print shops. We don't make you wait. There's a waiting period already because 99% of everything outside of the art is done by one guy, and that's me. So shipping, handling, all that's just me, but still. As always, no AI. We don't permit AI in any capacity, anything we do. I have no patience, respect, mercy whatsoever for that. There are no shortcuts to demon summoning. You will do it the old-fashioned way, by putting pen to paper, paying artists, and working with people who dedicate their lives to mastering their crafts, myself included. Early Fox Special, we tried doing those. That ends Tuesday night at 11:59 p.m. That is an acetate cover. I think you guys know what that is. JD, I know you being a fellow anime fan are familiar with the magical rays of light anime loves to use. Come out of nowhere to censor things when it happens. That's what that acetate cover essentially is. Only when you turn the acetate page, those magical rays of light disappear. You get the barren artwork beneath, along with cover B and a special trading card, which is the Goth Rita trading card that's exclusive to that tier. We have a couple of tiers that are referred to as pantsuit tiers. Again, JD being from the anime world, you are familiar with this concept, I am certain, especially to the Blue Girl. It comes with our first ever item card for our upcoming trading card game, which is Rita's Panties, which actually is a pretty powerful item card. Admittedly, some of these cards might be a little too powerful, but I guess if everything's overpowered, then no one is overpowered. We brought in a lot of new names I haven't worked with before on this one, including people like Witch King, who is a professional H artist, Nikanoji, also professional H artist. Along with a couple of other new faces, Arturo returns. We love working with him. He's fantastic. Some of our classics come back. Miss Henpai, who did our Darkstalkers homage, cover right there. We love Miss Henpai. She's an amazing person to work with. Very kind, very humble. I have nothing but good things to say about her. My tattooist actually agreed to do a cover for this one. Krista Miowski there, who did our Goth Knight tattooed up Rita. She did amazing on that. It's her first ever cover in comics. I intend to have her do more in the future. She did a great job on that. The images don't do it the justice I like it to do. She puts every single tattoo on Rita's body has an extreme amount of detail, like literal professional tattoo shop level detail in every single piece on her. It's fantastic.
The character designs are fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you. I work with people, a very fantastic team of artists who've been very good to me, that I can give them a rough design that I can't draw at all, and they can turn it into something of absolute beauty. Joseph Wolf comes back. I work with Joseph Wolf a lot these days. I love working with him. He's a great guy. His style is beautiful. He does something that I've always been afraid of in Succubusted that he's able to tackle very well. You scroll for just 1 second, Jade, just a little bit. Bump up by 1 to 2 tiers to Rita right there. One more. Right there. And that is because Rita is, part of my joke was that she's a succubus. We always see them with being very voluptuous, top-heavy kind of ladies. But Rita doesn't really have that. She's got a big booty, but she doesn't have much in the chest. And in anime, they tend to make the mistake a lot, probably intentional, of the characters looking rather young, which we don't do that here. Any character that comes in anything of mine that is involved in any not safe for work content must appear a minimum of 23 years of age. JD did a fantastic job of capturing still like a youthful glow and making it look mature. So happy with that. Senpai, again, everything she does is just gorgeous. We have a couple of covers here that are ultra foxies. If you know what that means, then you're in the right place. That censoring is there for a reason. So that's our extra spices. We always do a digital deluxe. You get every regular tier cover plus all the digital stretch goals. Our stretch goals go from digital to physical this time. We have a cover book for issue number 4 with the cover there by Krista Miowski, one of the variants exclusive to that. So if you want to just get the covers, you don't like to read, you just want to see sexy succubi, I got you. Don't worry, we'll take care of you. Rita's Small Chest, which is issues 1 through 4, cheaper than you can get them individually. Comes all the stretch goals, but issues 1 through 4 with the A covers. We have a couple of end of arc specials. Those are golden foiled. They are numbered. So whatever you get is X of however many are sold. Everything you see gold on there receives the gold foil treatment, including the wound tats, which look amazing under that foil effect. There's a lot, man. It's a long page. This took a long time. Our supplier finally got in purple foil. So we wanted to do it since Succubus #1. So we finally have a Magical Girl purple foil version of Rita right there, which I cannot wait to see that. It's going to look so good. Speaking of acetates, you have this acetate right here of our mascots in the Succubus outfits, kind of teasing Rita because they can hold that outfit between their chests, where Rita can't do that. With a nice little thought bubble commenting that she thinks that cake is superior to melons. But when you turn that page, the pasties, the thoughts, the title, all that goes away. You get, again, the bare artwork underneath. We have one medal so far, the Smacked cover, which is also numbered for One Farmer Soul by Artoru. If you're a Booty fan, you'll enjoy that, I think. Succubus Goth Gala was one of our themes this time. We have our Succubi in Gothic attire. I had to request it for a while, and it took me time to get to it. Campaigns are usually planned 1 to 2 years out, so it takes me, if there's a request that happens within that time frame, I have to figure out how to work that in. So it takes a little bit of time. This campaign was ready to launch a year and a half ago, but the amount of time it takes me to ship and do everything by one guy, it didn't have time. Documakers returned. They requested those to return. Our mouse pads also came back. Part of our trading card game, you get deluxe. Those are foiled, so they have a nice little shiny foil effect to them. I think it's a healer and a support card for your deck as we're working on that whole process. Mini cover books are no longer a thing. I know you guys seen those from me before, the little small pocket-sized cover books. We switched those over, we're talking to some backers, to trading cards. So now they're standard trading cards that are virgin artwork of all the covers. They're less flimsy, a little tougher, a little easier to store, a little nicer. The Booty Mouse pad comes back. We shockingly, if you're like me and you work on the computer a lot, so you're using a mouse all day, does actually make your wrist feel better. Like it physically helps when my wrist is sore. I used it as a joke at first. No, this actually helps. I'm really surprised by this. More traditional anime style mouse pads are also a thing, because why not? We also, this time I got permission from the artist to bring posters of some of our most popular cover art from previous campaigns. So I have Cute Sexy Robots, who is fantastic. Some other creators came here recently and asked if they could get him. I've been a friend of CSR's for many years, and it takes me 1 to 3 years to get a cover from him still, even as a personal friend. So it's very difficult to get covers from him. He's very busy. Lyrics, we have permission from her to use some of her covers as posters. We also had from issue 3, I think, we had the good ending, bad ending covers. If you guys have ever played certain kind of cultured video games, you're familiar with good and bad endings. With the bad ending being that you become the succubus's slave, and the good ending, you enslave her and an angel. Good ending might be subjective to taste, though, depending on what your desired outcome may be. Hey, we don't judge here. My job is to make you happy, not judge you. Anything with an orange star on it now means that cover no longer reprints, in part because our office is running out of room to store things. Okay, we have to stop reprinting some of these. So if you see an orange star on it, it means it's not coming back. Once it's gone, it is gone forever. Our previous titles are always add-ons on there. I think I've been doing this now for 12 to 15 years. I forget. 12 years, I think, in comics, 15 in entertainment. So our backlog is substantial, and you can grab them. Usually you can get them cheaper on a Kickstarter than you can off our website. We try to mark things down a little bit. I never want a backer to have to choose between having a cool thing and getting a good dinner. I don't want you to make that choice. I want you to have your cake and eat it too. Only in this case, the cake is a succubus's bottom. And I want you to have both. Missions and Adult Lessons. Keep in mind that is strictly an 18+ series, but that teaches you things adults should know how to do, including budgeting your money, which I know right now is a very difficult thing to do and a very important lesson to learn. Manticore was our last campaign, and our stretch goals, which we're on the cusp of yet another one. So we've been knocking those out far faster than I anticipated. This campaign has had the fastest takeoff of anyone I think I've ever done. And for that, I am incredibly grateful to our fans and community for that. Backers really are an amazing group of people. If I know, Brian, I think you said you're new, I will tell you, backers are amazing. They're very patient. They're very kind. As long as you're honest with them and keep them updated, they are totally nice people. I think after 12 years, I can count 3 backers, 3 that I've had problems with in 12 years. I have problems with more people than that if I walk into the mall. So absolute love for them. We have a strong dedication to them. We have a Discord server we talk to our fans, and if they have requests, we'll make it happen. We get special requests from our campaigns. So if you guys ever see a cover from a previous campaign you want that's not here, message us. If you're looking for a bundle that's not offered, message us. We do everything we can to work with you to make you happy. Brooke Astral, our company mascot. She handles our customer support on Kickstarter. She's always on standby. But if you want to do it a little bit faster, you can go over to our Discord server. Zumi Fox, no relation to me, is our community manager, and she will answer questions and work with you in real time. If she can't make that tier happen for you, she'll message me. And I don't care if I'm in bed, if I am donating blood, if I'm with the partner, I don't care. I'm getting on here to make that happen for you. You are priority number 1 for Astral Ticket. Issue number 4 is called Love, Lust, and Lesbians. So have fun with that.
All right, very nice. Very nice. I mean, listen, you met your goal. You're killing it as usual. Great covers. You know, so I mean, I don't even know what to say, man. You always killing it. So
lucky and very great, very, very grateful to our backers. The faith they put in us motivates me to continue making sure I do the best I can for them. I will not let them down. I don't permit that. I will get, just for a story of how dedicated we are to our backers and what we do. Recently, I had some test results that said I was going to have organ failure and I was about to die. Luckily the tests were screwed up. They messed it up, but I still had to go to the ER. On the way to the ER, the Miowski hadn't been paid yet. She finished her cover and she wanted to be paid after that. Her choice. I stopped by the bank, got her money, and paid her, and then went to the ER because our support, our team, and our backers matter more to me than my health does. I don't care. I don't matter. You guys do. Our team does. Our backers do.
All right.
I think your health matters.
Yes, your health does matter.
I don't matter. The books matter, the backers matter, and the team matters. I'm nothing more than a platform for them to elevate themselves upon. That's all.
The readers will demand more books. You must live.
My cats will take over.
Oh, what's this?
Oh, sure. Okay. Vicky Sticks.
Vicky Sticks, you want me to play the video?
No. Play the video. I got to change it. I got the new music today, so
Gotcha.
don't want nobody to get tagged on that one. All right. Vicky Sticks. It is issue number 2, but it's the 3rd of the series. We got a 0. We got a 1. This is a 24-page full color action-filled comic that spins mythology, monsters, and magic. She is the Dark Protector of the Night. She's out there protecting all of the creatures that go bump in the night. We are fully funded. We have already hit the first stretch goal. We're close to hitting the second stretch goal. We're about to hit the first backer goal. It is written by me, illustrated by Donnie Hadiwijaya. Yeah, I said it right. Covered by Larry Toussaint. I don't know if I said that one right. I hope I did. Colors by Champe. And we're rocking and rolling. I think this is my 30th campaign. If you're a returning backer, you get the holochrome or prismatic trading card right off the bat. They look like this, nice and shiny, and those are for physical backers. The early bird special is already done, but fair's fair. If you still want to get it, you can. You just got to pay the 5 balonies to get your hands on it. There are still some of the premium items left from previous campaigns. So the blood red foil covers are still available. Some of the prism covers are still available. T-shirts are there, and we also have some one-of-a-kind sketch covers illustrated by Anthony Pugh. So those are banging. And that's it. I mentioned earlier, if you're a fan of Hellboy, if you're a fan of Jessica Jones, if you're a fan of the old Beauty and the Beast 1980s TV show with Linda Hamilton and Ron Perlman, this is a book that's right up your alley. And there are also other books available in the campaign from my back catalog. But if you're running out of space, you can definitely get your hands on the digital catalog. That's a great value. And then if you scroll down a second, Calderon, Vicky Sticks is the 3rd book right there. Hold it. For those of you who do not know, I've been pushing this for a while now. Myself, Calderon, Tom, Marvin Wynn, Rob Multari were part of an independent comic creator collection trading card set. This crossover includes 9 different cards where if you get all 9 cards. The back formed this really big, nice jam image. So 3 cards are available. And if you missed the first 2 campaigns, the links are here in the body, and they are still available in late pledges.
All right. Very nice. Very nice.
Thank you. And
JD, that top cover is metal, man. It looks really good.
thank you, brother. I was going to put the original up for sale, and I'm like, no, I like it.
That looks awesome, man. That's
I don't want to get rid of it, man. It's banging, brother. So we got Larry booked for the next 2, and we got Donnie booked for the next 2 issues as well. So our team and the whole creative team is going to remain consistent for the next 3 issues, which is awesome. Yeah, man. And all of the campaigns, for anyone who is interested, all you got to do is check out the comments over here, and all the links are available in the comment section to all of the campaigns that have been showed off so far.
All right, very good, very good. Real quick, I'll put up my campaign. I got another 7 days ago. The Dreamweavers. This is a catch-up campaign for issues 1 and 2. So if you haven't seen this before, this is your opportunity. Dreamweavers is a book that I started in the early 90s. It's one of the books I first started with, and I remastered it. I relettered the entire thing. We got the whole thing colored. This is the 2nd issue. Matt Lunsford, who's the original artist, he's coming back to finish the series. So we're finishing it up. I got some variant covers. I got Art Voyager, Red G, Pablo Diaz, Erwin Precieta, which I'm pretty sure I messed up his name. This is Matt's new cover. He did a new variant for it. And these are actually the 2 original covers that appeared when it first came out. The only thing with these is I had them digitally recolored. That's the only difference. But these are the same 2 covers that appeared in 1992. Actually 93 with these 2, because we were doing annuals back then, but we didn't know that. But yeah, and I mean, we have a bunch of other colors. We got Lena Dye, Douglas Perecero, Anya. I have no idea how to pronounce that lady's name. Javier. But these are some of the interior pages. And the interior pages, like I said, they were originally published in black and white. And the story is about 4 kids that whenever they go to sleep, they wake up in the bodies of their role-playing game characters, and they're fighting a bunch of demons to hopefully save Earth. And that's where we're going from there. So another 7 days, so go check it out. All right.
I can't help but notice you channeled your inner LeBlue girl on some of those, JD. That's not know what that is, of course.
Well, that was before LeBlue Girl.
Oh.
Yeah, we did that.
You did your homework first.
Yeah, we were very well schooled before we got to La Blue Girl. So.
You're a man of culture. I respect that.
Yeah. Tom, you're up.
So this isn't like intended for everybody to just lay bare their politics and so on. But I'm just curious, like when you're writing stuff, and some people only do one thing, some people do like 7 different stories. I'm just curious if, as you're writing things, do you either write a story purposefully with your sort of worldview message in it, or / do you just kind of write a story and every now and then you kind of drop whatever message you want to drop into it? Or is the bulk of your work pretty much just like, let's just go, let's just have let's just do superheroes, let's just do fantasy, let's just do that, and we're not worried about sort of like the real world leaking into it at all?
All right. Isaac, you're up. Oh no, excuse me. Sorry, Brian. We're working the other day.
Okay. Well, this is going to be interesting because I don't write like I don't write from the well of from real world from that kind of aspect of real world perspective. Like I kind of write usually from within my own like anxieties and fears and vulnerabilities and stuff. And that's sort of how my kind of stories come to life usually. If I'm going to have like the stories that I am writing, like with The Wretched, the record has a message in it, but it comes from like something like a philosophical angle to it that I kind of relate to, or that I kind of connected with a little bit. And if I don't know, if I were to write something with real world, like either politics or cultural implementations in it, I think it would probably come from just my own kind of connection with it. I suppose it's not something about me being kind of blatant about like what kind of thing I want to push more towards. I don't know if that answers what you were questioning, but
Yeah.
it's difficult for me to. Okay.
All right, Jeff, what are your thoughts? Jeff, you muted.
Unmuted now. I think if you look at Malik Running Devil, there's an inherent provocativeness to the story where a lot of people can be offended by the concept. I mean, if you're highly religious, you're gonna have an issue with Malik. It's just how it goes. But that's also part of the, my worldview inherent within it, and I'm not gonna shy away from that if that's something I actually believe in. And it could cost me some backers, but at the same time, hopefully those who do connect with the story, will have a story they really enjoy. We'll see someone that they are on the same page with, and we'll give them, something to think about, hopefully. So I'll say inherently, politics is impossible to separate from a story that would write from, from anything else. I'm not doing something that's inherently neutral.
All right, fair enough. Isaac, what are your thoughts?
A question I was trying to avoid. Astral Ticket by rule is not permitted to mention, discuss, or show any real-life religion or politics whatsoever. That's banned in our server, it's banned in our work, yada, yada, yada. It's banned in everything we do. We use some of the fantasy of demons and angels, but not from a religious standpoint. That being said, I don't write anything that doesn't have a message to it. Even Succubus being an ecchi comedy, it uses the stand-in of humans x demons to lightly, doesn't force down your throats, only the succubi get that kind of treatment, but examine how our society claims to be free, but we judge people based on who they date. Same-sex couples, inter-race couples, trans couples, etc. Demons can be a stand-in for anything like that. Kind of like how X-Men is a stand-in for people that society usually calls outcasts. Similar concept, but we're not going to beat you over the head with it. That being said, I've had to say this a few times, and nobody's ever raised the pitchfork and torch to me before, but there's always, all it takes is that one guy, right? Succubus starts off with our characters being assigned to go round up a demon who's overstayed his visa in the mortal world. This was written like 6 years ago and has nothing to do with the current immigration climate of the United States. So please don't anybody think it does. I'm not saying that. This was written before any of this was even a thing. The idea was a simple case that they could do in like a 5-minute adventure in and out, that a project that was believed to going to fail, being having a demon work for the government, would fail anyway. So give them something easy. Issue 4 does also refer to the president as female, which again, this book was written like 3 years ago, has nothing to do with politics. My point was to emphasize that this takes place in a alternate reality, as the U.S. has yet to have a female president. President being female there should enforce that. I think X-Men has done the same thing, kind of a similar idea. So for the most part, I stay away from religion and politics, but I do think that writers' biases will always come out no matter what we do. We subconsciously do it. So it's always going to be there, but try to present things with a message. Even if I'm writing something that's going to be just a lot of, booty in your face laughs, I still want there to be a heart and a meaning behind it. Mr. Zoom's Adult Lessons is a fantastic example of that, where it's a lot of adult jokes and imagery, but it's used to actually help you out. How to change a tire in your car, how to budget your money better, how to repair your toilet, things like that. You can use that stuff to an advantage, but for the most part, real life religion and politics, I avoid it like the plague in business. But wearing company colors, I can't comment at all.
All right, cool. Jay.
I got a message from the missus telling me to watch it with how I answer this. So the way I respond can leave me on the couch tonight, or it can leave me in the bed. I will say I stand with Jack Kirby, right? And if anybody knows the story, you know, there were a couple Nazis that called him while he was upstairs in the office. And he went downstairs to the front of the office building to bust some ass, right? That's where I'm at. I can't help it. I read Captain America in the fucking 80s when it was written by Mark Greenwald. You know what I mean? Come on. That's where I am. When it comes to writing, story comes first, right? If I'm writing a political thriller, okay. But in something like New York versus the World, I've never shied away from this. New York versus the World is the whole story of it's that wall, right? It's that immigration wall, right? It's about xenophobia. But then, you know, all good zombie stories also carried that layer of subtext, whether it was commercialism, communism, racism, right? That was in there. This is New York versus the World, a zombie story about what happens when you got one group of people on this side of the wall trying to keep their family safe, and then you have another group of people on the other side of the wall looking for a safe place to keep their family. When that is the core of the story, who's wrong in that side, right? You throw zombies into the mix, it's a powder keg waiting to explode before you get to the last page. Does it come out in my writing? I don't know. You know, other than that, maybe, yeah, no. I know where I stand, you know. But then it's always been that, right? Jim Lee's Wildcats #2 had Vice President Quayle in it, right? Savage Dragon had President Obama in it. Going back to the Mark Greenwald Captain America stuff, Richard Nixon was part of that Illuminati. What were they called? The guys, the Secret Society, I think it was. Right, so it's always there. Shit, Captain America punched out Hitler, right? It is what it is. It is what it is.
Go look at Baki.
Yeah, that's a false statement. That's a wild
Yeah.
What's a false statement?
All art is inherently political. That's wildly false.
I disagree completely. I think everything you say that is art is inherently political because it is messaging from the artist who's doing it. Unless you're doing something completely neutral, and toothless. But I think for the most part, everything is inherently has a political stand to it, one way or another. Or art.
Depends on how you define political. I mean, I write things that are absolutely non-political in what I think is the traditional sense. But if you're going to say political in the idea of good versus evil, bad versus good guys versus bad guys, whatever,
I would say there's inherent messaging to it all. I'm not saying it's technically like this is a stance of a political party, but it's definitely inherent messaging to everything that's actual art.
I think there is inherent messaging, but I think it's just as much as about the message from the receiver of the art as much as the artist too. How someone interprets the art is arguably is a huge factor comparing to the artist, to the art itself. I mean, compared to the art itself.
Again, I think it depends on how you define political. You don't have to be toothless in your story, or you don't have to have political bent to your story to have teeth to it. That means you're writing something for a political purpose in that regard, whether it's immigration, whether it's racism, whether it's whatever. But if you're writing a story that's just purely this is good and this is bad in the context of Superman versus Lex Luthor or whatever, something like that, that's not a heavy political message. That's just simply talking about, okay, this is a concept of good and bad, you know, how they interact, what's the motivation, et cetera, et cetera, et
Well,
cetera.
I would disagree. I would say Superman and Lex Luthor are extremely messaging political based. You have a character who represents usually the corporate wealthy, Superman who represents
immigrants, right?
It could be immigrants, could be usually a very inclusionary philosophy of things. I think that's inherently
Well, all characters have their own internal thing. Right. But even those internal things, depending on the writer, can be shifted and moved as you know, everything's been retconned and rebooted and reset, and now this guy is this guy, and now this guy is this guy. You know, even back in the day, Magneto was not Jewish back in the day. That was something that was added as the story was you know, his character was moved along down the line of the X-Men. So everybody can kind of come and go. There's always things that you can put on somebody, but just because, so for example, Superman is an immigrant. Yes, we all understand that's the immigration thing, but that doesn't mean that every story that you tell with Superman is an immigration story.
Right.
Well,
I would have to say,
I think what everyone is getting to is metaphor, right? Like, you know, everything, you know, and I think that's what most people mean, you know, by political, the metaphor of whatever the story is you're telling, right? Whether it's good versus evil, business versus, you know, rich people versus poor, trying to keep, whatever it is, it's all metaphor, right? On some level, right? And to answer the question, you know, that's where I come from in my work. I don't necessarily make it political or apolitical or whatever. It's more about the metaphor. You understand what's the message I'm trying to get across? And one of the things about that is I try to bury it as deeply as possible, right? You got to think about it and you try to observe it. You know, I'm not going to wear it on my sleeve. I'm not going to just be like, bam, there it is. There you go. That's not the type of work that I'm interested in. It's not the type of work that I do. You understand? I have my own reasons for that. But, you know, I try to, like, you know, if the metaphor is going to be in there and the metaphors are there, right? That's the route that I try to take with my writing. So I'm sorry, Isaac, I cut you off. What were you
no, you're totally fine, man. It's your show, your rules. I'm just a passenger on your ride, my guy.
No, I try to let everybody talk.
No, that's a great way to put it, is the metaphor of it. Because there's definitely ways that you can put sort of things into it without just having it be on the top of the entirety of the structure and what you're trying to do. Obviously, everything that you do comes from some bent, whether you're entertaining and you're trying to do comedy or whether you're trying to scare somebody, it all comes from something, and it's just how it's kind of used. But what I'm asking is are you doing it purposefully to say, I am going to write a story about immigration through this, or is it just, I have this character and this character is going to have adventures, and along the way,
one of the adventures,
we're going to touch on a few things in that metaphor sense, which I totally agree with. That makes absolute sense.
Well, I'm going to say, I never said it was inherently overt, but I do think everything comes from a place of a stance on some level. That's
sure, but that's not necessary. But we got deep into the political aspect of it. Like, everybody's got stances that are. That's what I'm saying. What's the definition of political? For me, political goes much higher level than sort of just your morality level. Like, you know, I like goats, but I don't like pigs. Like, you know, there you can get all kinds of weird moralities and rationale for anything that you want.
Tom, just give me a minute. Let me answer DM's question here real quick. Yeah. All right. So DM, now are we talking about just a black and white picture? Does this person have something wrong with color? Right? Does one section of the fruit bowl look better than the other section of the fruit bowl? I mean, you know, there are all kinds of things that can be discussed about this. Right?
What kind of fruit are we talking about?
This is actually a great question. I watched somebody, there was a professor who was talking about breaking down literature and what did the writer really mean here when he said that the curtains were blue and they fell to the ground? Clearly, the writer indicated rain and sadness through the blue. And then the writer of that book saw that comment and was like, I like blue.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the curtains were blue.
That's what I mean. The interpretation of the art is often the interpretation of the art is often, I don't want to say more important, but it tends to take center stage over the art itself. Sometimes it takes on a life of its own.
Sure. Yeah. The reader sometimes will even just interpret something that could go completely the opposite of what the writer intended, depending on their worldview and their experience with something. They could read something and be like, "Oh, this is clearly what this guy meant," and then again, the writer will be like, "No, you got whatever you wanted out of it, and that's fine, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the writer plopped it in there for that reason necessarily."
But sometimes that could take you on a slant that you never, or direction that you never thought of going, right? And it'll open up the doors to further storytelling, right?
Sure.
But that's if you listen to the fans.
That's if you listen to the fans, right?
And if you don't plan ahead for your story, right? and you might already be 6 issues in. Do you go back and change it?
Do you go back and change it? No, you don't go back and change it. You just,
The answer is always no.
no, because that's a great thing, right? That's a great thing because I remember Chris Claremont and Scott Lobdell, right? They just used to throw seeds up in there, right? They would throw seeds, and they would let the readers extrapolate, and they were like, "Oh my God, that's a great fucking idea. We're gonna go that way," right? But then you got things like this movie came out recently. Well, not recently, 3 years ago. Blink Twice, right? Zoe Kravitz's first directorial debut, right? And it was a whole metaphor for Epstein Island, right? But it was intentional, and little by little, as this thing is happening in today's news, they're finding other elements and layers of that movie that are proving to be true. And they're like, how much did she know, right? Was she telling a movie, or was she sending a message?
Well,
when she wrote that.
Well, one thing I was thinking of is Jerry Conway and the Punisher skull, where it's been taken from both sides. One is saying it's a liberal, one is saying it's conservative, but it's still getting a conversation started. It's still trying to say something, depending how it's interpreted, but it's still saying something, right, or meant to say something. But obviously, it's been taken from two different directions. I mean, it's what they're saying. You know what I'm saying? But that's how art inherently is, though. It may not be necessarily the bullet he was, the target he was aiming for, but it did reach somebody.
Well, but sometimes the art is simply emotional. It has no rationale to be attached to political. Again, what does political mean? Sometimes you draw a sun because you're happy, and sometimes you draw the rain because you're sad. Now, you can take those thought process and say, okay, well, why are you happy? Why are you sad? And then that, again, encompasses your worldview. But sometimes art is just as simple as, I'm going to draw this bowl of fruit, or I'm going to draw the sun today. I'm going to draw a tree. And that's all there is intended to be, is I'm going to show you what I see today. I'm going to show you what I feel today. And that's the end of the message, is this is where I am in this moment in time.
Let's roll this back to the point. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ryan.
I was going to say, I'm often, next to, it's going to sound a little strange, but next to music, paintings are like my big like inspiration in terms of writing comics. And I mean, oftentimes what a painting would hit me emotionally, it could just be a shack at night or something like that. It's just the way it was painted and drawn that just evoked like an emotion in me. Now, does that have some kind of underlying metaphor, or I don't want to say just specifically? I know politics is what we were kind of focusing on, but it doesn't have any kind of meaning in that. I don't think so, but I just know what it means to me as like an emotional resonance.
Sure.
I even made a couple. I secretly made a couple comics before The Wretched. That's highly inspired by the Polish painter Mariusz Lewandowski. He has like surreal artwork. And the paintings are set in a fantastical world, and it's just beings trying to, like, one of them is following a vision of a black knife in the sky. He's dealing with a dark sun that's turning everything into stone, and he's following this black knife for what end he isn't aware of. But there's like shadowy figures squashing through glass mountains. There's like a tower that's with 3 bodies melded into it. Like when I made that story, I didn't make it through any kind of political or deep message put into it. It's really just like an emotional sort of thing that I was feeling at the time that projected itself as a comic. So I think, like, what was I saying before? I lost my train of thought. But I would resonate with paintings that would just could be of the simplest things, but isn't even have to be anything, with an inherent message or political or whatever thing attached with it.
Isaac, you had something to add?
The question is the problem. The question's wrong. It has the wrong subject matter to it. Art is not inherently political. Humans are inherently political. So the art is not political, but the instant it is beheld by another person, it becomes that immediately to that person. It doesn't matter what that art is. I can sit here, Mr. Hutchison, and go, you have a redheaded white girl behind you. Why isn't it something else? Why isn't it this? What are you trying to say? There's no message to that, but you could certainly do that if you wanted to, and somebody inevitably will. The more eyes you have on it, the more political it becomes, because you can have two humans in a room and have 4 political opinions. It's just the way it works.
Mhm.
So my argument is that the question is wrong, not the answer.
I think it's.
I found this interesting. According to Alan Moore, nobody interpreted Watchmen right.
Oh wow.
It's funny. My question would be, did Alan Moore interpret it correctly?
That's what I was going to say. Isn't Alan Moore just going to like troll anyway? Like that's just what he does.
But it's funny, as a writer, and I mean, in all of us are writers, right? I could have written something 10 years ago, right? That when I wrote it, it meant something to me then, but it means something different to me now.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Well,
Yes.
Well, I'll say I would also argue. I teach English during the day. I'm a junior high English teacher, and one thing you do have to ask the question is something true because the author says it's true, or is it true because it's in the writing of it? A thing like Romeo and Juliet, it says clearly it's fated, but the story has nothing to do with actual love. So was Shakespeare getting his point across, or did he mean the other thing? So just because the author says this one thing does not mean the writing actually says that it is, based on the actual interpretation of it. So I think that can be also viewed in almost anything you write or draw.
Well, that's the thing. That's the interpretation. Art is in the eye of the beholder. So, like Ray said, you can see a bowl of fruit and interpret it however you want. Is it left over from a nuclear war, and that's why it's black and white? Is it whatever? Like you can take art and run with it for as long as you want to run with it and interpret. In a comic book, you could break down panel by panel, like why was this color chosen? Why was this angle chosen? Why was the size of this square chosen? Like you can break these things down and interpret them in however you want. That's your sort of privilege as the reader or the consumer or whatever. But it does come back to, what did the writer do here? What was his choice? Was it what you're interpreting, or are you just adding things that you think are there or want to be there or wish were there? Whereas he may have just said, I like blue curtains.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But that brings everything back to, the question, what's holding us back, right? Us. And we need to allow a certain amount of ambiguity in what we're writing. So that way, what we're writing, whatever, you know what? We're storytellers, whether we're writers, painters, musicians, right? Artists, right? We're storytellers. The medium is the only choice that we should have. But that little bit of ambiguity is what leaves it open to interpretation, and is what we should be doing as storytellers. And it is to evoke something provocative enough to generate conversation.
Well, the ambiguity is what allows the reader, the consumer, to put themselves in what they're watching. Because if there's a gap, they fill it in themselves. Doesn't matter what it is. Yeah. They'll just be like, oh, well, I saw this and I saw this, but something happened here, and they'll just fill it in themselves. And that's where you start to get a lot of interpretation of things that if you go back to the writer, the director, or whatever, they might just tell you like, no, that has nothing to do with anything. But the person put themselves into it. One of the famous things that I loved was James Cameron, when he made the first Avatar, right? People were coming out of Avatar with all kinds of thought processes. Like, this is what this is about. This is what this is about. This is what this is about. And they would ask Cameron, like, so these are all the theories about like what this is about and how this works. And blah, blah, blah. So why don't you tell us? And he was like, why? They're all having a great time. Mm-hmm. Let them believe whatever they want to believe that it is, because that makes them enjoy it. Yeah. And that's all I'm here for. It's to create something for them to enjoy. So he never really just came out and said, well, this is about the Indians, or this is about this. He was just like, doesn't matter. It is what they want it to be. And I thought that was a really interesting way to kind of deal with it.
Right.
I think someone asked David Lynch a question like, so what is something, one of his movies? So can you tell us what this means? And he says, no.
Yeah.
And that was it.
The most interesting work, I think, allows itself to various forms of interpretation by the readers, right? By the people consuming it, right? So that everyone comes out with a different opinion. That's why we have, various things we could discuss after watching a good movie, right? We could sit back and watch and discuss all these various points. And that's what makes, I think, a good piece of work, or at least that's a segment of it. Anyway.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, we made it to hour 2. Good job to everyone. Thank you. You're all great. Let's start with Brian. Please, Brian, where can we find you and your work?
Okay, well, the easiest way to find me, I think, is to search up Fractured Heart Productions on Linktree. You'll be able to find a link to the Kickstarter, 2 links on Global Comics where you can read the first 40 pages of The Wretched for free. And you can there will be links to me on various social medias, like on Instagram, which is just my name, Brian Mannell, Instagram, Blue Sky. And I usually post on Instagram, but and also a little bit of Substack every now and then under Fractured Heart Productions.
Okay, cool. Great, Jeff.
All right. You can find Malik on Kickstarter, active now for 10 more days. You can find me on Traversing the Stars on YouTube. You can find me on Facebook under Jeff Haas or Malik on group Malik. You can find me on Blue Sky under Traversing the Stars and TikTok under Traversing the Stars.
All right, cool. Isaac. You're muted. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was unmuting. Sorry. AT Foxy Comics, the 2X on, let's see, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We don't really use Twitter anymore, but we're still there. Blue Sky, the same. And our website is foxycomics.com with 2 X's, not 3, because it's not that kind of website. I'm sorry. Until somebody writes me a fat enough check, that's not going to happen.
Cool. Tom?
How many times JD demands it?
BigDogInc.com. Get your books. We're going to be launching the next phase of The Legend of Oz, The Wicked West 15-year anniversary in March. It'll be our BD16 anthology that we're calling the Ozthology. And one of these days, Calderon is going to stop asking me to ask questions.
Not gonna happen.
Because I always bring the big ones.
Good. That's what we need. We need little, need the big ones once in a while. All right, Jay. Where can we find you in your work, sir?
Unstoppablecomics.com. You'll find all my social media links right there on the website. Friday nights, you'll find me on Comic Book Streamland, hanging out with this guy on my left and this guy on my right. You know what? Tomorrow night, I'm going to be doing a special Snowden episode tomorrow night. So catch me on Monday night, Comic Book Streamland. I got to let the wife know that I'm going to be doing that. I heard something drop when I mentioned that. So, but yeah, we'll be doing that. And then for the next, 19 days, The Dead Princess Vicky Sticks #2 is live on Kickstarter. Check it on out. We are very close to hitting stretch goal #2 and very close to hitting backer goal #1. The more supporters that we have, the more everyone wins.
Cool. So you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, DeviantArt, blah, 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 all those different places. Sunday nights here doing this show most weekends. I take off once or twice a year, maybe 3. Friday nights with Jay and Tom. Probably tomorrow with Jay again. I don't know why, but just to let everybody know, tomorrow night or tomorrow, probably about noonish, the Oswald Chronicles will be returning to Kickstarter. Why? Because you can't keep a good mouse down. That's why. But anyway, so Dream Movies is still running, so go check that out. And just remember, everybody, please go check out the show notes, because in the show notes are the links to all of these creators' campaigns. Click those links. Buy these books. All right. Please support these creators. These creators are all impassioned creators. They're all really invested in their work, and I think you should be too. Go check them out. These are great works. And just remember, everybody, read more indie comics, especially ours. Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Way to be, everybody. Good night.
Good night. Stay warm.
Good night.